Only 1167 vacancies. IBPS PO, not like this. Oh well, let's check into the notification for IBPS PO 2020 and I'll give you 5 most important things that you need to remember. Now, if you are looking for a comprehensive course for IBPS PO 2020, then you can check out Guidely's Express video course. They have mock tests, live classes, videos, and they'll also give you personal guidance in a Telegram group, a lifetime validity for their video course, and 100% cashback if you are selected in any examination. Avail this offer now and use the code Shupriyo to get 10% off. Very important to get your preparation on track, and there are very important things in this video that you must remember when you are filling up the form. So do not miss any moment and let's begin. Hi, this is Shupriyo. So in this video, we are going to take a rundown of the IBPS PO 2020 notification. Now I won't be going deep into the strategy of this examination. So if you need that, let me know in the comments and I'll definitely bring out a strategy video. So let's start off with the important dates. Now there are 5 main things that I want to discuss in this video. 5 things that you must remember before you are filling the IBPS PO 2020 notification form. So before the form filling, make sure that you have seen all these things. So the first thing is the important dates. Now this is something that I was actually surprised by, because I saw that they are thinking of conducting the preliminary examination on 3rd, 10th and 11th October. Now I do feel that this is a very optimistic kind of a time frame. I'm not sure if they will be able to meet it, or whether due to the rising cases they will have to postpone this. So right now I still feel this is up in the air, but of course since we have a date, we need to prepare considering the date that has been given to us, and if these kinds of reschedulements happen, then later on we have to deal with it. So I just want you to just be prepared for any kind of changes in the schedule, because we have to see the RRB as well. The IBPS RRB, they had mentioned September, October as well. So based on their experience, I think IBPS PO will be going ahead. So don't think that these are set in stone. Now 5th August, so from today the online registration, it is going to be taking place till 26th, and of course the pre-exam training, because of the coronavirus, they have said that only if it is possible, then only they are going to conduct it. And as per the dates given to us, so mains examination, it's tentative on 28th November, and they are saying that interviews and the result, it is going to be happening in January 2021. So by April 2021 the allotment is going to happen according to this notification. Now this is still not fully set in stone, as I mentioned, so remember that, and a lot of these things will be depending upon what happens in RRB, and also the SBI circle based officer CBO 2020, that also plays a vital role. We'll look into that a little bit later. So these are the important dates that you need to remember. The next thing that we have to see is the important eligibility criteria. So the age limit, very important. Your age has to be within 20 to 30. So you are going to have to be born after 2nd August 1990, and your birthday must not be after 1st August 2000. So 2nd August 1990 to 1st August 2000. And remember also that both of these dates are inclusive. So both of these dates are included. So if you are falling on that day, then it is no problem. Now the next thing is that the graduation, it will be from any discipline. So any field graduation will be applicable. So no matter if you are an arts student or a commerce student or an engineering student, whatever be your field of graduation, you are allowed to sit for the examination. And there's also a very important thing that for the final year students, your final result has to be out by 26th August 2020. So if your final result is not out by 26th August 2020, then you cannot sit for this examination. And I know that a lot of people are facing these issues because of the COVID situation, and I really hope that the government does something about the final year students, because it's quite unfortunate. Not many universities are able to just bring out the results within this amount of time, but this is what has been given right now. So we have to abide by it as of now. And the next thing which is actually not mentioned right at the eligibility, but it is mentioned elsewhere, but I feel that because of the pandemic situation, the eligibility of the Arogya Setu app also is something very, very important that you must understand, that you must have the Arogya Setu app. And if you do not have a smartphone, don't worry, there is a possibility of getting a declaration. But for safety's sake, if you have a smartphone, I'll say that go ahead and install the Arogya Setu app, and you must have your correct risk factor. So if you have a moderate or high risk, then you will be prohibited from sitting in the examination. Very important. Your risk factor has to be lower than these two, the moderate or high risk. Otherwise, they will not allow you to sit in the examination center. So very, very important. Protect yourself, wear masks, wear gloves, and make sure that your risk factor is correctly updated. And these are the important eligibility criteria. Another thing that I wanted to mention is that 10% will be in the reserve list. So after the final selection happens for each category, so for general, for OBC, SC, ST, etc., for all the categories, they are going to have 10% of additional students selected, and they will keep it for a certain period of time in the reserve list. And another thing which many people directly assume is that 10 times of the amount of vacancies will be sitting for the mains examination. So if you have 1167 vacancies, then 11,670 students will be sitting for the mains examination. Now this is not set in stone, and many people are incorrectly just telling you that this is the case. This is not always the case, so don't worry about it. Just think that you have to get that one seat, you have to secure that seat. I know the vacancies are very, very low, but we cannot really help anything regarding this at this point of time. So let's come to the vacancies now, the third part, and a very important thing. So the total number of vacancies, as you can see, it is 1167. Now this is very, very low, because even in 2019, 2018, the vacancies were 4,000 plus, right? So people who have attempted, they will be knowing 4,000 plus used to be for most of the recent vacancies. So what has happened this time around? Now you have to be very careful about all the things that they are saying over here. See, they have not actually said that all these banks are not going to give you vacancies. What they have said is that only 3 banks, Bank of India, Punjab and Sindh Bank, and UCO Bank. So only 3 of these banks have actually just told their vacancies to IBPS. Remember, IBPS has been assigned by the banks to actually conduct this examination. So they do something called an indent. So the indent is that they tell IBPS how many candidates they want, and based on that, IBPS makes all the arrangements and everything they do. But this time what has happened? This time a lot of banks have reported NR. So they have not reported the vacancies. It's not zero, remember. Only the Central Bank of India, the Indian Overseas Bank, and the Bank of Baroda, these 3 banks have said 0. But even if they have said 0 right now, it can increase. So don't be disheartened by that. In fact, if you do a comparative analysis, and this is very important to do because we have the data of the previous years with us, right? So usually what happens, Bank of India, they will be announcing 900 plus vacancies. So this time you see only 734, but usually it will be 900 plus. And for the UCO Bank, the vacancies are usually 500 plus, and this time it is only 350. Now Punjab and Sindh Bank, in the last year they had not announced it, but the previous year they had announced 150 around. So the vacancies, if we study it across the board, then we see that the reduction of vacancies has certainly happened. So this is something that nobody can deny, that lot of reduction of vacancies has happened. And based on my calculations, I have seen that about 70 to 80% reduction has actually happened in these vacancies. So that is the amount of reduction that we can try and average out within the other banks as well. So if we calculate it properly like this, so I have made a lot of calculations, and I'll not go into the complex numbers that I mishmashed and I found out, but according to my final calculations, the vacancies, the total vacancies, it should range somewhere around 2,500 to 3,500. This is my best guess, so don't quote me on this, but as per my analysis, I feel that later on they are going to be adding the vacancies, and 2,500 to 3,500 will be the final vacancies. But this is later, this is not right now. Right now you will be fighting within that 1167 vacancies. So your entire outlook should be towards that 1167 vacancies. Don't really think about what can happen later on. Later on, the vacancies surely they are going to increase. But what if the vacancies are not declared by the time the prelims has actually happened? Then you have to fight in the lower number of seats, right? So make sure that you prepare accordingly. And actually, when I was seeing all of these things, I had a conspiracy theory in my mind. Now, this is totally unsubstantiated and I have no proof about this, but I was feeling that most of the banks that they have told, now they are about to be privatized in a few years. And so I was thinking that is this kind of a notification just to see the reaction of the students, that whether they are going to apply or whether they are not going to apply. I'm not sure if that was the thing that they are thinking about, but it might be that the government is doing all of these privatizations and they want to see what is the response of the students if they hold the vacancies of the other banks. Now we'll be talking a little bit more about how to apply and what should be your priority list, but right now our hands are tied and we have to live with the fact that so few number of vacancies have been announced. So better that we do not ponder too much about this, and let's go to the preference order of the banks. So this is very important. How are you going to put your preference order of the banks? Because the form will be asking you that three main things you have to keep in mind when you are filling your preference order. Very, very important. The first thing is that you have to opt for the larger banks first. This is very important because the recent trend will be towards privatization, towards mergers and amalgamations. So if you are in a larger bank, you are working there, then the chances of getting privatized become very less, and you are also going to be able to grow your career much better in those banks. So larger bank should be your priority number one. Second priority is that the headquarter of that bank should be near your home state. This is the second one. And the third one is that the privatization news. So this is also very important. These are the things that you have to check. These three important things. And do you have to check? No. What am I there for? I have checked all of these things and I will help you to find out. So let's take a look at my analysis and I'll tell you. So you will be seeing this image in front of you. Now let me just tell you what these boxes mean. So the red boxes that you can see, the red boxes are banks which are going to be privatized. So we have news from government agencies that these banks, the ones in red like UCO Bank, Indian Overseas Bank, Bank of Maharashtra, all these, they are going to be privatized. What about the yellow banks? The yellow banks mean that they have amalgamated or have had mergers or they are going to have mergers. So the yellow banks, they are not going to be actually privatized, but they have had some mergers. And what is the green box? The green box means the banks which are the biggest banks in this very list. So let me just change this and I'll show you. So Bank of Baroda, this is the big one in the list. Then you have Punjab National Bank, Indian Bank and Canara Bank. So these four banks that you see in front of you, these are the biggest banks. Now of course they have not announced their vacancies. In fact, Bank of Baroda has said 0 vacancies, but still there is a possibility that the vacancies are going to rise. Now the preference order that you are going to choose, this does not have a direct correlation with the vacancies. Why? Because if you are choosing a bank which has 0 vacancies but it is at the top, if you don't get there, you are going to get the lesser bank, right? So don't worry about vacancies when you are making this selection. This is very important to note. Vacancies are not important at all. You have to think about the region of India where you actually belong. So just think about this. Bank of Baroda, where is it headquartered? It is in Vadodara, right? So it is Western India. And Punjab National Bank, the headquarters is in New Delhi. So this is going to be in your northern India. Indian Bank and Canara Bank, these are in Chennai and Bangalore. So they are southern banks. So this is very important to understand. Now, if you are a northern candidate, then how should you actually go about your selection? So if you are from the north, then I would recommend first place should be put to Punjab National Bank. This is very important. First place Punjab National Bank. Second is Bank of Baroda because it will be nearer, and then go for Indian Bank and Canara Bank. So these will be your top 4 choices, and the next choices whatever you have, you can opt for anyone that you want. You can opt for Union Bank or the Punjab and Sindh Bank. Those things are not going to matter that much, because remember that these banks, these 4 banks, they are the biggest banks in this list, right? So these 4 banks, they are not going to be privatized. maximum they are going to have mergers. They are not going out of government control. And even Union Bank of India, there is not much talk. So though it is not that much of a big bank, but still this also does not feel like it's going to be privatized that fast. So based on this, you have to remember that these 5 banks, they should be in your top 5. This is very important. So the northern candidates, southern, eastern, western, northeastern, wherever you belong, these 5 banks should be in your top 5. And the next 6 banks, it depends on how far the headquarters are from your own home state. So you have a good idea about how to select that. So this is how it is going to go for northern India. So what about southern India? So for southern India, what you can do is you opt for the Indian Bank at the Canara Bank. So Indian Bank is headquartered in Chennai and Canara Bank is in Bengaluru. So you can better know which one to put at the first, and then go for Bank of Baroda, Punjab National Bank, Union Bank, and then the other banks, whatever you have. So that is how a southern candidate should be filling up the vacancies. And what about the eastern one now? So for the eastern candidate, it's actually very difficult because for the east, there are not a lot of options because all these banks, they are not that much in the east. But I will tell you that number 1 should be Punjab National Bank. Now, why should number 1 be Punjab National Bank? Because remember that there was a merger recently. If you remember, Oriental Bank of Commerce, United Bank, these 2 banks were merged into the Punjab National Bank. And we know that United Bank of India, they have a large presence in eastern India. So number 1 for East India should be Punjab National Bank. Then you mix and match the other 4. So you can go for Bank of Baroda, then Canara Bank, then Indian Bank, and then Union Bank. And the rest of the banks, that is up to you, wherever you want to put. Just remember that UCO Bank, they have a large presence in eastern part of India. So you can go about that. And northeast and eastern, both of them are similar. So I'm not talking about northeast because you can just follow what the east is filling up. Now finally coming to the western part of India. So students from the western part of India, no brainer, Bank of Baroda is going to be your top choice. So remember that Bank of Baroda is going to become strong because of the recent merger of the Vijaya Bank and the Dena Bank with it. So Bank of Baroda, of course, should be your first choice. Then you go for the Punjab National Bank. Then you can opt for the Indian Bank. Now Indian Bank has had the Allahabad Bank merger, so it's going to just be a powerhouse. And then you have the Canara Bank as well. So Canara Bank also the Syndicate Bank merger, so that's also something that is going to make the Canara Bank very strong. And then you go for the Union Bank of India. Now Andhra Bank and Corporation Bank are going to be merged into the Union Bank of India. So there are a lot of mergers actually. I was half planning to make a video on all of these mergers and what's going to be the future of the banking industry after the amalgamation happens. So maybe I'll make it in the future if you want. But this is how the Western candidate should be actually filling up the vacancies, the preference orders, and the rest of the red banks that you see, it doesn't really matter how you are going to fill up because these ultimately are going to be privatized. So all these banks in red that you can see, they are all going to be privatized, and it really does not matter which one you pick or which one you don't pick, because I assume that when you are sitting for your examination, when you are sitting for government examinations, you want to be in a government bank, and it would be quite weird to just aim for a bank that is going to be privatized in the future. So that is all about the preference order of banks. And now the final note. So finally we are just going to just sum it up. And so the full strategy, some of you were asking for it, and if you need it, I'll definitely make it, but it will take a few more days. So I was working on the banking awareness series, and I saw that a lot of you were watching those videos and you told me that you love those videos, and I will definitely make the entire banking awareness series, and I'll try to improve the frequency of uploads as well because it has been quite slow before this. And that's all. And about the cutoffs rising, so this is something that I already talked about, and yes, the cutoff unfortunately is going to rise because the vacancies are going to fall. They have already fallen. It's only 1167 now. Even if they go to 2000 or 2500 or even 3000, then also the seats are going to be reduced and the competition is increasing. It's a pandemic situation. People are looking out for jobs. That's why I do believe that the competition definitely is going to increase. So make sure that you are prepared very, very well. And in my channel also, I'll try and help you out whatever you need with the preparation. And if you are looking for a very comprehensive course where there will be mock tests, there will be all kinds of information, all kinds of support given to you, then you can check out Guidely's Express video course. They have separate live classes for IBPS PO, IBPS RRB, and they are going to give you comprehensive coverage. So I really hope that you make use of this opportunity, and you can get a 10% off when you use the coupon code Shupriyo. So check the link in the description and in the comments, and I am certain that it is the course that will give you the most value that you can find out of all the things that are being offered in the market to you. Now for the IBPS RRB, this is also a very important thing. IBPS RRB PO and clerk, there are 9,000 plus vacancies, right? And here you have only about 1100. Now you can understand that IBPS RRB, if you have not been taking it in a priority, now it is time to take it as a priority. And IBPS PO, of course, you are also going to try, but RRB has a lot more chances because of the large number of vacancies. So do not neglect it and prioritize the RRB exam as well. It's very important that this year you are going to adapt to the changes that are happening, and focusing on RRB is one of the important things that you can do. And then also the SBI CBO effect. So the CBO 2020, I have already made a video on the CBO. I hope that you have seen it. Now because of the CBO, what is going to happen, a lot of public sector bank employees from the other banks, they are going to migrate towards SBI, and because of the large number of vacancies, there might be an opportunity for a lot more seats to open up in the future. And this is why IBPS PO has actually just brought out the notification so fast, because they want to try and get as many people they can, because SBI will be taking up the cream of the cream. So that is why SBI CBO is going to be very important to see how this will shape the nature of the vacancies going forward, because I believe that SBI CBO, this will actually increase the IBPS vacancies quite a lot. So time will tell whether I am right, but I hope that this is how it turns out, and it will actually help you, because then you are going to get more seats in the IBPS examinations. And future aspects, so of course, as we see that right now there is a tendency of banks to be privatized, or there are lots of talks of privatization. All the top government people are talking about it. There are going to be mergers, amalgamations. There's going to be a lot of consolidation in the coming 10 years. So we must be prepared for it. We must understand what we are getting into, and I'll definitely try and make some more videos about the future aspects of each and every bank, so that you have a better idea. But right now what you can do is you have to just increase your skill level. This is the most important thing that you can do. You have to adapt to survive. Adaptation equals to survival in this hostile environment. We are not living in the generation of our parents. Remember this thing very, very well, that we are living in a different time. There is going to be a lot of consolidation. You can compare this with the situation of 1969 and 1980, when we had so many bank nationalizations. Now the reverse is going to happen. So this is going to impact our lives. It's very important that we become skillful. It's very important that we take this thing seriously, because the coming 10 years will change a lot of things in the banking industry. So prepare well, work hard, and I am sure that if you are putting in your honest hard work, there is nobody who can stop you. With that, let's end this video. I hope you liked it. If you enjoyed this video, please hit on the like button and share it with your friends, and please subscribe to this channel if you want to see more of this kind of content in the future. And do not forget to click on the bell icon, so that you, my friend, do not miss any future update. I'll see you in the next video.